Welcome to this rigorous scientific lecture on magnetic nano and microparticles. Today we'll explore how particles with different magnetization directions and shapes can be assembled into larger structures, and how polymer shells enable actuator applications. Let's start with the fundamentals. Magnetic nano and microparticles are materials with dimensions ranging from nanometers to micrometers that exhibit magnetic properties. Nanoparticles typically range from 1 to 100 nanometers, while microparticles span 1 to 100 micrometers. This size difference is crucial for different applications. Common magnetic materials include iron oxide, such as magnetite, cobalt, nickel, and various alloys. Each material offers different magnetic properties and biocompatibility. Here we see different particle shapes. Spherical particles offer isotropic properties, ellipsoidal and rod-shaped particles provide directional anisotropy, and cubic particles have crystalline anisotropy. The yellow arrows indicate magnetization direction. Now let me pose a question. Why does particle shape matter so much in magnetic assemblies? The answer lies in magnetic anisotropy. Shape anisotropy determines the easy and hard axes of magnetization, which directly affects how particles interact and align. The anisotropy energy equals K times V times sine squared theta, where K is the anisotropy constant, V is particle volume, and theta is the angle between magnetization and easy axis. Particles with larger aspect ratios, like rods, have stronger shape anisotropy. This creates more pronounced directional preferences in assembly. Now let's discuss magnetization directions, which are absolutely critical for controlling particle assembly. We can engineer different magnetization patterns. Uniform magnetization has all moments aligned. Vortex states have circular arrangements minimizing stray field. Janus particles have two distinct magnetic hemispheres. The fundamental interaction between magnetic particles is the dipole-dipole interaction. Let me write the governing equation. The interaction energy U equals negative mu 0 over 4 pi r cubed times the quantity 3 times m1 dot r hat times m2 dot r hat minus m1 dot m2. Here, m1 and m2 are magnetic moments, and r is the separation distance. Notice the critical 1 over r cubed dependence. This means dipole interactions are short-ranged but become extremely strong at close distances. Let's do a back-of-the-envelope calculation to understand the interaction strength. Consider two iron oxide nanoparticles, each 15 nanometers in diameter. The magnetic moment M equals saturation magnetization ms times volume 5, which equals ms times 4/3 pi r cubed. For magnetite, saturation magnetization is approximately 4.8 times 10 to the 5 amperes per meter. Calculating the moment for a 50 nanometer particle, we get approximately 3.1 times 10 to the negative 17 ampere meter squared. At a separation of 100 nanometers, the interaction energy is approximately 10 to the negative 20 joules. Compare this to thermal energy. Thermal energy kBT at room temperature is approximately 4.1 times 10 to the negative 21 joules. So the magnetic interaction is about 2.4 times stronger than thermal fluctuations. This ratio tells us particles can self-assemble driven by magnetic interactions, but they retain some thermal mobility for error correction during assembly. Now let's explore how we can use these principles to create larger assemblies. There are several key strategies. Strategy 1 uses particles with uniform magnetization. When exposed to an external field, they form chains aligned with the field direction. Here we see chain formation. Particles align head to tail to minimize energy, creating linear chains parallel to the applied field. Strategy 2 uses particles with different magnetization directions. This creates branch networks and more complex three-dimensional structures. Strategy 3 employs Janus particles. The asymmetric magnetization allows directional bonding and hierarchical assembly into specific geometries. Here's an important question. Once we've assembled these structures, how do we stabilize them so they don't fall apart? The answer is polymer shells. By coating particles with polymer shells, we add mechanical stability, prevent aggregation, and introduce additional functionality. Let's examine the core shell architecture in detail. The polymer shell serves multiple critical functions. The core shell structure consists of a magnetic core surrounded by a polymer shell. Typical shell thickness ranges from 10 to 500 nanometers, depending on application requirements. First, the polymer shell provides steric stabilization. The extended polymer chains create a repulsive barrier that prevents uncontrolled aggregation. Second, biocompatible polymers like polyethylene glycol or ketosand enable use in biological environments and medical applications. Third, functional groups on the polymer allow attachment of drugs, targeting ligands, or cross-linking agents for more complex structures. Fourth, and most important for actuators, stimuli-responsive polymers can change properties in response to temperature, pH, or other triggers. Let's discuss common polymer materials used for these shells. Polyethylene glycol, or PIG, is highly biocompatible and prevents protein adsorption, making it ideal for biological applications. Poly-N-isopropylacrylamide, or PN-IPAM, is temperature responsive with a lower critical solution temperature around 32 degrees Celsius. Below 32 degrees, PN-IPAM is swollen and hydrophilic. Above this temperature, it collapses and becomes hydrophobic. Polyacrylic acid is pH responsive. At high pH, it swells due to ionization. At low pH, it collapses. This is useful for targeted drug delivery. Now we arrive at the exciting applications. How do we use these particles as actuators that convert magnetic energy into mechanical work? The fundamental principle is that magnetic fields exert torque and force on magnetic particles. Torque aligns the particle, while gradient forces translate it. The magnetic torque tau equals the magnetic moment m cross the magnetic field B. This torque rotates the particle to align with the field. The magnetic force F equals the gradient of m dot B. Field gradients create translational forces that move particles. Application 1. Microfluidic pumps and valves. Magnetic particle chains in microchannels can act as valves or pump fluids. In a microchannel, a chain of magnetic particles spans the width. By rotating an external magnetic field, the chain rotates and pumps fluid. Changing field orientation can open or close the valve. Let's estimate the pumping rate. Consider a chain of 5 particles, each 10 micrometers diameter, rotating at 10 Hz in a 100 micrometer channel. Flow rate Q approximately equals angular frequency omega times radius squared times length. This is a simplified estimate. Substituting values. Omega is 2 pi times 10, radius is 50 micrometers, length is 100 micrometers. This gives approximately 1.6 times 10 to the negative 9 cubic meters per second, or 1.6 microliters per second. This is a reasonable flow rate for microfluidic applications. Application 2. Soft robotics and artificial muscles. By embedding magnetic particles in elastomers, we create magnetically actuated soft materials. Before actuation, particles are aligned in a relaxed elastomer. When a transverse field is applied, particles rotate and the material bends. This creates controllable deformation. The polymer shell is crucial here. It keeps particles fixed in position while allowing rotation. This converts rotational torque into macroscopic bending. Application 3. Targeted drug delivery. Magnetic particles coated with stimuli-responsive polymers can navigate to specific locations and release cargo on demand. First, magnetic field gradients guide the particles through the bloodstream to the target tissue, such as a tumor. Second, applying an alternating magnetic field causes the particles to heat through hysteresis losses. This is called magnetic hyperthermia. The heating power P equals mu0 times pi times frequency F times field amplitude h squared times the imaginary susceptibility chi double prime. The local temperature increase triggers the temperature-responsive polymer shell to collapse, releasing the encapsulated drug precisely at the target site. Let's calculate the heating power. Consider magnetite nanoparticles at 10 milligrams per milliliter concentration in a 100 kHz field of 10 kiloamperes per meter. For magnetite under these conditions, specific loss power is approximately 2 watts per gram. Temperature rise equals power times mass times time, divided by specific heat times total mass. For a 1 gram tissue sample, with 10 milligrams of particles heated for 10 minutes. This gives approximately 12 degrees Celsius temperature rise, sufficient for therapeutic hyperthermia, which typically requires 42 to 45 degrees Celsius. Application 4. Magnetically reconfigurable materials. By controlling particle assembly, we can create materials that change properties on demand. When particles form chains aligned with a field, the material stiffness increases dramatically. Removing the field softens the material again. Particle arrangement also affects optical properties. Aligned structures create anisotropic scattering, enabling tunable photonic materials. For membranes and filters, particle chains can create permeable pathways or impermeable barriers, allowing dynamic control of molecular transport. Let me pose another critical question. What are the key challenges in this field that researchers are currently working to overcome? Challenge 1 is scaling up synthesis. Producing large quantities of particles with monodisperse size and controlled shape remains difficult. Challenge 2 is long-term stability. Assemblies can degrade over time through particle aggregation, polymer degradation, or demagnetization. Challenge 3 is biocompatibility. Some magnetic materials contain toxic elements, and nanoparticles can accumulate in organs, raising safety concerns. Challenge 4 is achieving precise control in complex environments like the human body, where multiple forces compete with magnetic actuation. Let's discuss an advanced concept, the magnetorheological effect. This is crucial for understanding actuator response time and force generation. The effective viscosity eta effective equals the base viscosity eta 0 plus beta times the yield stress tau y, which depends on the magnetic field strength. The yield stress is proportional to volume fraction phi squared times saturation magnetization squared times applied field h squared. This magnetorheological effect enables response times on the order of milliseconds and force generation tunable over several orders of magnitude. Another advanced topic is collective behavior. When many particles interact, emergent phenomena arise that individual particles don't exhibit. Long dipolar chains can buckle under compression, similar to mechanical beams. This can be exploited for sensing or controlled braking. Large assemblies can move cooperatively, exhibiting swarm behavior. This is being explored for cargo transport and collective manipulation. Two-dimensional particle arrays can undergo phase transitions between different ordered structures as field strength or direction changes. Now let's synthesize these concepts into practical design principles for engineering effective magnetic particle actuators. Principle 1. Match particle size to the relevant length scale. For microfluidics, use microparticles. For cellular applications, use nanoparticles. Principle 2. Optimize magnetic moment. Higher moments give stronger forces but may cause unwanted aggregation. Balance is critical. Principle 3. Select polymer response to match application requirements. Temperature response for hyperthermia, pH response for GI tract delivery. Principle 4. Account for frequency response. Viscous damping limits how fast actuators can respond. Design for expected operating frequencies. Maximum actuation frequency scales as magnetic moment times field divided by 6 pi times viscosity times particle radius. Let's look at future directions. Where is this field heading, and what exciting developments are on the horizon? Four-dimensional printing allows spatial control of particle concentration and orientation during fabrication, enabling pre-programmed shape changes. Machine learning algorithms can optimize field sequences to achieve desired assemblies faster and with fewer defects than trial-and-error approaches. Hybrid systems combine magnetic actuation with light, electric fields, or chemical triggers for multimodal control and enhanced functionality. In biomedicine, magnetic actuators could enable minimally invasive surgery, with millimeter-scale robots guided through the body magnetically. Let me walk through a practical design example, a magnetically actuated microgripper for manipulating cells or small objects. The gripper consists of two flexible arms, made of magnetic particle-embedded polymer. Particles in each arm have opposite magnetization directions. In zero field, the arms are open. When a vertical magnetic field is applied, both arms bend inward due to torque on their embedded particles, closing the gripper and capturing the object. Design parameters. Each arm is 500 micrometers long, 100 micrometers wide, and 50 micrometers thick. Particle loading is 10% volume fraction of 5 micrometer diameter magnetite particles. At an applied field of 50 millitesla, the gripper generates approximately 10 micronewtons of force, sufficient to hold a 100 micrometer cell without damaging it. Let's summarize the key takeaways from this lecture. First, particle shape and magnetization direction are the primary control parameters for directing self-assembly into specific structures. Second, Magnetic dipole interactions are strong enough at the microscale to enable robust self-assembly while allowing thermal mobility. Third, polymer shells provide mechanical stability, biocompatibility, and stimuli-responsive functionality essential for practical applications. Fourth, the conversion of magnetic torque and force into mechanical deformation is the basis for all actuator applications. Fifth, applications range from microfluidic devices to soft robotics to targeted drug delivery, demonstrating remarkable versatility. Finally, let me emphasize the critical parameters you must consider when designing magnetic particle actuator systems. Magnetic moment scales as radius cubed times saturation magnetization. Larger particles have much stronger interactions. Response time is proportional to viscosity times radius divided by moment times field. Smaller particles respond faster in fluids. Assembly energy scales as moment squared over separation cubed. Close packing dramatically increases stability. For stable assemblies, interaction energy should exceed 10 times thermal energy to prevent disassembly from fluctuations. In conclusion, magnetic nano and microparticles, with engineered shapes, magnetization directions, and polymer shells, represent a powerful platform for creating reconfigurable materials and actuator systems. This field beautifully combines fundamental physics of magnetic interactions with chemistry of polymer synthesis, materials, science of nanostructures, and engineering of functional devices. The quantitative relationships we've discussed provide rational design principles rather than trial and error approaches. Emerging applications in medicine, robotics, and smart materials promise transformative technologies in the coming decades. Thank you for your attention. I hope this rigorous exploration has given you both fundamental understanding and practical insights into magnetic particle actuators.